Hello y'all, how are you guys doing today? I hope you're having a wonderful day. And I welcome you yet again, y una vez más, yet again, to We Are English, my little YouTube channel from my little online academy. And this video is for those of you who believe that the following sentences are totally correct. The first one, we are talking about have another baby. We are talking about have another baby. The second one, you mustn't cross the street without look first. You mustn't cross the street without look first. So if those two sentences sound okay to you, if that's the case, stay tuned, don't go anywhere because we're about to begin. Hit it! Alright, so let's get started with this video. And very simply put, the video is about this rule. After prepositions, in English we're going to use gerunds. If there is a verb after a preposition, in English it will come in the gerund format, no matter what. No matter what, sin importar el qué. I mean, every single time, forever and ever, over and over again. Time and time again and again. Yes, no matter what, after a preposition, if there is a verb in English, it'll come in the gerund format, in the ing format. Don't forget about that. It's a golden rule. So why does that happen? Why is that the case? Well, to understand this a little bit better, para entenderlo un poquito mejor, to understand this a little bit better, think about the nature of prepositions. Now, prepositions are followed by things, by nouns. Están seguidas por cosas, por sustantivos, por nombres, yes? So that's what prepositions are followed by. So if prepositions are followed by things, the verb has to be in the format of a thing. El verbo tiene que venir en formato de cosa también. ¿Y cómo se cosifica el verbo en inglés? ¿Cómo se sustantiva un verbo en inglés? ¿Cómo se convierte en una idea? Más que en la acción de hacer real, sino la idea de la acción. With the gerund, with the ing. So for instance, running, climbing, sailing. I mean, these are sports. Estos son deportes, yeah? So that's how we turn a verb into a thing. And that's why in English, after prepositions, time and time again, forever and ever, we will have gerunds. Be careful, warning! The translation from Spanish into English will deceive you, os engañará, will deceive you. Because in Spanish we always, or if not always, almost always, we use infinitives. After prepositions we use infinitives. For example, no puedes hacer eso sin pensar. Sin pensar. Infinitive. Antes de entrar tienes que dejar salir. Entrar y salir. Infinitive. Entre hacer esto y lo otro, prefiero hacer esto. Entre hacer, infinitive. So you have to be careful with the translation because the translation is so evil. So evil. And you know what we do here with translations? In We Are English, you know what we do here? ¿Sabes lo que hacemos aquí con las traducciones? Out the window. Again, out the window. Out the window. So yes, be very, very careful with that. Don't rely on translations, no os apoyéis en las traducciones, or try not to, o por lo menos intentar que no sea así, or try not to. So, prepositions followed by gerunds, yeah? But how many prepositions are there in English? How many prepositions are there in English? There are many, okay? Let's put it that way. There are so many prepositions in English, and that's the bad news. But the good news is that we normally use the same 20, just like a handful of prepositions. A handful is como un puñado, right? So a handful of prepositions, the same ones. And with this rule, y con esta regla, with this rule, we normally use the same group of 10 or 12 prepositions. Again, there are more. Hay más, por supuesto, of course, there are more. But the ones we normally use or use the most with this technique are on, for, about, from and to, with and without, before and after, between, by and against. Now these represent the most common prepositions we use with this technique. So let's see some examples using them. Example with on. My company is spending a lot of resources on training the staff. My company is spending, drag the S, arrastrar la S, is spending a lot of resources on training, training the staff. Staff, un poquito nasal esa. So, my company is spending a lot of resources on training the staff. Mi empresa se está gastando un montón de dinero, un montón de recursos en formar o entrenar a la plantilla. My company is spending a lot of resources on training the staff. On training. Example with for. Telephones are for communicating. Telephones are, catacumbear con la R, are, for, catacumbear otra vez, for communicating. Ring, con un poquito de R ahí. Ring, communicating. Telephones are for communicating. For communicating. Example with about. What was Mike talking about? ¿De qué estaba hablando Mike? What was Mike talking about? Mike was talking about getting a tattoo. Getting, getting. Esas T's and D's between vowel sounds. Esas T's y D's entre sonidos vocálicos. Getting, getting. Mike was talking about getting a tattoo. Right? Estaba hablando acerca de hacerse un tatuaje. He was talking about getting. Example with from and to. We went from knowing a little bit to knowing a lot. A lot. We went from knowing a little bit to knowing a lot. From knowing to knowing. Examples with and without. With, lazy eye y vaga. Lazy eye, with. Example with. You can't compare driving a Mini with driving a Porsche. You can't compare it. You can't compare driving a Mini with driving a Porsche. With driving. Yeah? You can't compare driving a Mini with driving a Porsche. Now, without. She entered the house without making a noise. She entered. The ed at the end because it's past. Entered. She entered the house. The house. Tongue between my teeth. The house without making a noise. Remarkable. Examples with before and after. Before. We should think before acting. We should, sh, should. We should think, lazy eye, and ending in a K, think, right? We should think before, catacumbear con el for, before acting. We should think before acting. Now with after. After listening to him, I must say, I agree with him. After listening to him, I must say, I agree with him. After listening to him, I must say, la T del must os la podéis comer un poco, I must say, I agree with him. After listening to him, I must say I agree with him. Alright, now example with between. Between drinking tea or coffee, I prefer tea. Between drinking, lazy eye, drinking tea or coffee, coffee, I prefer tea. Up against your palate, tea. Between drinking tea or coffee, I prefer tea. Me too. And so do I. Now example with by. The only way to learn is by practicing. There's no other way. The only way to learn is by practicing. The only, the, tongue between my teeth. The only, como va seguido por vocal o sonido vocálico, the, con I, ¿no? The only way to learn, catacumbear ahí con el learn, la R, right? The only way to learn is by practicing. The only way to learn is by practicing. And then one last example, this time with against. I voted against not giving homework to the students. I voted against not giving homework to the students. I voted. T between vowel sounds la T entre sonidos vocálicos. Voted, voted. Voted. I voted against not giving homework to the students. And any good teacher would vote against that, I believe. So well, after all of these examples, and you have seen there are many examples, and we could have done many more. Podríamos haber hecho muchos más. We could have done, could have done. We could have done many, many more, and I could have told you many, many more. Podría haberos contado muchos más. I could have told you many, many more. But I think with this is enough, right? So remember, these prepositions that we have just talked about, on, for, about, from and to, with, without, before, after, between, by, and against. 12 prepositions, after which we follow with gerunds many times, many times, to keep in mind. And after this, let's move on to a mini exercise. You know how it goes. I'll give you a sentence in Spanish, and then I'll give you some time for you to translate into English. Yes? Are you ready? So let's begin. Number 1. ¿De qué estáis hablando? Estamos hablando acerca de comprar una casa nueva. ¿De qué estáis hablando? Estamos hablando acerca de comprar una casa nueva. Take your time. What are you talking about? We're talking about buying a new house. We're talking about buying. We're talking about buying a new house. What are you talking about? We're talking about buying a new house. Number 2. ¿En qué está trabajando? Él está trabajando en mejorar la eficiencia energética. ¿En qué está trabajando? Él está trabajando en mejorar la eficiencia energética. Alright, so take your time. What is he working on? He's working on improving the energy efficiency. What is he working on? Working on, to work on something, trabajar en algo, with on, to work on something, remember that. What is he working on? He's working on improving the energy efficiency. Alright, excellent. Number 3. ¿Qué hicieron después de ganar el campeonato? Después de ganarlo, fueron a un restaurante a cenar. ¿Qué hicieron después de ganar el campeonato? Después de ganarlo, fueron a un restaurante a cenar. Take your time. What did they do after winning the championship? After winning the championship. What did they do after winning the championship? After winning it, they went to a restaurant for dinner. After winning it, they went to a restaurant for dinner. You see how it works? Excellent! So just remember, after prepositions, we always, time and time again, forever and ever, over and over again, will use gerunds. Prepositions always followed by verbs in gerund. Don't forget about that one, it's a golden rule in English grammar. Alright, so well, if you have found this video helpful and useful for you, don't forget to like and subscribe. It would be of great help for me to keep growing the channel, and stay tuned for more content coming your way. I'll see you pretty soon. Be good until then. Cheerio. Bye bye.